Here we go, David. I'd like to sing a little song about our next guest and see if you can guess who it is.
Okay.
Will Forte.
But I have one guess so far. I'm not going to say it.
Will Forte. Hey.
Same guess.
Will Forte?
Yes.
Anybody?
Will Forte. I put my shades on so I could hear better. It's a good song. It's a toe tapper. Will Forte, who was in Last Man.
Well, he was
Standing
one of
on
our
Earth.
classic Saturday Night Live cast members.
Mm-hmm.
He does the most eccentric sketches. One involving Jason Sudeikis and potato chips is kind of famous.
Yeah.
So it was so fun to talk to him. His comedy is so eccentric and brilliant, and yet he's such a humble, sweet guy to talk to.
Yeah, he was very sweet, and we went through a lot of the sketches. And Dana, you're very complimentary because he's got so many zigzag type of bits where you don't see where they're going. And
oh yeah,
he's
the
very
spelling
out
bee
there.
does one of spelling bee. If you've ever seen it, we talk about that one. It's so funny. He is Mr. Commitment.
Yeah, commits, perfect for SNL. Just on that. Go ahead.
Mr. Commitment.
I know that. Commitment.
Yeah, can I play and you just sing?
Mr. Commitment. Mr. Commitment.
Okay, there we go.
I was doing it. It was very low.
People,
Sometimes I
look,
go,
I get letters. I know you're on Instagram and stuff. I get
you still
letters.
get letters?
I get letters. I'm old school. And they always say, can we like to hear David sing? So I
No
said,
one.
I'll
My
entice him.
mom told me I had karaoke at my birthday once, and this is a quick story. Ashton Kutcher was there, and
Ashton Kutcher's at your birthday when you're like 10?
when I was 40, so a year ago.
And you're still, okay.
He was anyway. He's a very cool dude. So he comes to
yeah.
party, and I go to sing "Wanted Dead or Alive." The bottom line of the story is my mom was at the party and she told me I can't sing, but the middle part of the story is
Wait a minute. The song, how does that go?
I'll do it.
Okay.
So Ashton, we go, let's do this one. So I go, it's all the same, only the name of Jane. You know that song?
Oh, yeah.
That's fucking good, but that's good.
You committed.
Every chair turns around. So I start
it's
singing
like an
that,
episode of The Voice.
and then Ashton jumps down and want it, and I go want it. That background part is
That
very
sounds
important.
pretty good.
And then he sang the rest of it, and I go, you don't get all the good parts. He got both parts. I think he did wanted, and then he did one, and I go, no, that's me. That's all I have left, because now he's doing both the chorus and the other parts, whatever they're called. Ba 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 ba, whole song. And at the end,
I've heard this.
At the end, I gave him a weak high five. My mom was like, "He fucked you, dude."
I don't know if that's
He got
true,
you.
but in karaoke, being kind of selfish like that, it's called doing a Kuchner. I don't know if it travels,
That's
but
what it's called.
yeah, doing a Kuchner.
Kutcher.
No, he's good. The thing great about Ashton.
We're talking about Will Forte.
Oh.
I know we sort of drifted off. But
Well, when I think of Will Forte, I think of Ashton Kutcher.
no, Ashton, my mom said, in fairness, we all were staring at Ashton, so no one cares if you sang. And I go, I get it. Will Forte, folks.
Ashton Kutcher. Oh no, it's Will Forte, right?
Just end there. That was good. Yeah, we got an Ashton plug. So now Ashton comes on. Ashton should come on. The fuck
I'd love
is he
to have him
hosted?
on. No, he has hosted because he said to the cast, he goes, guys, I know I'm really good looking, but I have hardly any talent, so I'm just going to make as much money as I can. And he's a super.
Did he say that?
Yeah, and he's a super investor. I mean, he's like
He gave everyone when he
hundreds of
left 100 shares of Apple as a parting gift. You know what Will did once, Dana? You won't believe this, because I would never. Fucking, didn't you shave your side of your head?
I did. It was for work.
I know, but it's cool. I don't think I could have done it because I've never been in a job where they didn't want me to look the exact same and be the exact same as the movie before.
I did Racing with the Moon with Sean Penn in 1982 or something. And I'm in the trailer and I'm going to play this kind of wounded, insane soldier. And they're just giving me this crazy military buzz cut, right?
Whoa.
So then Sean Penn comes in. He's also in the military, but he's got this little pompadour and everything. I go, what? Why does Sean get this cool? That's the greatest haircut I've ever seen. And I'm just, but he was,
hair too.
and I had to call him the name of his character. I thought that was hip. Anyway, quick story. This podcast is primarily about me. And so just want to give you a heads up on that.
So Will,
how are you?
for Dana?
How are you? I mean, you have a baby and you're, how are you?
I'm doing great. I have a baby, just got married. We got engaged.
You married your baby?
I married my baby.
I think I'm hearing it wrong. Go
She's my baby. Yeah.
She's been no. It's got married, got engaged the Christmas Day right before the pandemic set in. And then during the pandemic, we were kind of waiting to figure out when to get married. The baby popped up. The baby, which is part of the plan, eventually popped up a little earlier than we thought. And then so we just got married when we were out shooting MacGruber. We kind of realized that all our family was going to come in town to visit. So we said, let's surprise them and get married.
Let me ask you a question, because David's been married a few times. I've only been married once, but it is sort of that, unless someone's completely cynical, there is something like referring to, I know John Mulaney did a bit about, but my wife and my husband and the clarity and the finality of a wedding ring, and here we are. I mean, how do you feel after?
I'll tell you,
how do you feel about that?
It's crazy because you feel very married, and especially when you have a baby, it's like, oh, we are locked in. Monty. Yeah. But there's still something really fun about the wearing the ring. I said that it's still kind of fun to say wife now. It's for some reason the weirdest part of it was when I would say fiance. It was just weird to say fiance.
It's like a weird
because it was open ended. Yeah. I was, for years, when I would make love with my partner, my wife, that would be my sex word. Wife, I'm having you, wife. No, I made this up. Sorry.
It's your safe
write
word.
It into a sketch. Well, please, and make it brilliant.
No, I'm telling you, I'm the one that has been married the most, and I think there is something cool about that. I get it. I get it. You just know it. You know what it is. You know where you're at.
It's like one of Laurenisms, and sometimes I don't know if he makes them up or he invents them. Marriage is a prison that everyone's trying to escape into. But then you never heard that one?
I've never heard
that. Brilliant, right? But then you're so happy that you have this parameter in this area that you work from, and then you kind of, all this lovey-dovey stuff keeps coming up, flowing forward. And my family, I got to get my family. I'm taking my daughter here, and my wife's meeting me there. Anyway, I'm trying to get Spade married, so I'm trying.
No, I will say I heard the opposite. Hey, this is what I heard from my dad, and it should be on a T-shirt. This is my dad, because they had a crummy marriage and an ugly divorce. But he said two things: marriage is the only game that two can play and both can lose. And then he said, which is very nice to tell your kid when your mom's right there. And then he said, the fucking you're getting is not worth the fucking you're getting. And I'm like, can I just go to preschool?
You had a good mentor. I mean, I know it sounds funny, but I like that stuff. I mean, yeah, that's very honest. I think that,
but I still wouldn't mind getting married.
Well, would you say your wife is sweet and kind and essentially has just good values and a sense of humor? That'd be the four.
Yeah, those are good ones.
Yeah, she's all those things. She has a tremendous amount of patience, which is something that I basically need in a partner, because I can try
we're
anybody's
out of our minds,
nerves.
Comedians.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but she's wonderful, and she's a great mom, which is and she's just I really got lucky, because she was just, I was super on board with everything, very in love with her. And then found out she was a great cook.
Whoa.
Here she is. She's just coming in. She's just somehow on cue.
Can we mic her up? Hello. Hi.
There she is. There she is. That's Olivia.
Hi, Olivia.
You guys.
I'm either Dana or David.
Congratulations
Dana and David.
On your family. We've heard all about you for the last 90 minutes.
They can't even. Sorry. Now I can. Okay. Now I've just.
Gorgeous.
Oh, now I can't. It's still just trapped in the phone.
Oh, she can't hear.
hear
Oh,
it.
yeah, anyway,
Enjoy
your podcast.
She couldn't hear anything. They were saying
saw
nice
her.
to meet you.
And yeah, she exudes niceness and sweetness, and then
she's very nice. Her mom is in town right now. We're doing and man, I've scored in that department too. She's got a family I like hanging out with, and just everything is great. Everything is fantastic.
Okay, so that's kind of cool. I just wanted to ask about that because that's a big experience.
Dana's really got a nose for news.
You know, it's like okay.
Where are you? Where are you guys from? Because Dana, I know you're in Northern California right now, right? Because that's where I'm from.
I actually have a townhome in West Hollywood where I am right now. So, but I have my house in Mill Valley, but I spend a lot of time down here. And I remember you're a Bay Area
from
kid.
Mill Valley, are you? Are you from up there?
My wife grew up there.
Okay.
I grew up in San Carlos, down on the peninsula, where a track home is $4 million now. But where did you grow up in Lafayette?
Yeah, Lafayette and Moraga until I went down to UCLA in '88.
Wow.
So I love it up there. That's always where I wanted to end up.
So quickly, because I did this for like a half hour with Tom Hanks and I got in trouble. But did you have a favorite gift as a kid? Like it could be a bike or an instrument when you were like, between 5 and 10. I'm always just curious about you as a kid.
I would say the thing that first jumped out to me was Stretch Armstrong.
Fuck yeah!
Okay.
Stretch.
I love that thing.
That was unreal.
But it was
that
was like Gumby, but as a soldier,
and it was a workout
and bigger than Gumby.
It was and you'd pull the thing until the arms would come out, and there was like it was, from what I remember, kind of like a sappy blood. It was red colored, whatever was inside it, making it gooey. Yeah. It was,
and I think it's always fun that the character's name is what they do. His name is Stretch.
There wasn't much going on. If you look at toys today, like the Stretch Armstrong, I had one. You just pull it and it gets a little longer, and then it goes back, and you're like, "Yay!" I don't know, but it was fucking great. I loved it. I don't know. Yeah,
one of my first stand-up bits when I couldn't write anything, so I just go to toy stores and get props because I couldn't think of a joke, but I wanted to be a comedian. I had a Gumby on stage. I'd hold it up, I'd take it out of a bag, put it up against the mic. I'd pull its legs apart and just make the sound like like I was torturing. And you gotta laugh. I did stuff like you did, but in my early days, everything was avant-garde.
By the way, let me tell you, when I was looking at this
thing, we'll get around to Will's genius.
No, Will's genius. I'm going to ask him because Dana and I were doing some digging on you. We had a big argument whether you're a genius. It was like a 40-minute. No, we were looking, and the funniest thing I saw on one of these pages was, it says like trivia about you, and it says Forte's humor has been described as bizarre,
quirky.
I love it.
I was looking on a deep dive last night, and my wife was over my shoulder, and she just looked very quickly, and she goes, "Now that's funny." I go, "Thanks, honey."
Yeah, we watched different things last night, but go ahead, Will. Sorry. We were giving you compliments. We were inching into it.
No, it is crazy to hear you guys saying stuff like this, because I'll be honest, I was a little nervous coming on here. I'm such big fans of your guys that I was like, oh, I hope I don't clam up around them. And David, I've seen you so many times. Dana, I only met you once at the SNL 40th, but that was
fun.
I have
briefly
such tremendous respect for you guys and love you guys. You're heroes of mine. So
I would be as an attorney, I would make the case in a courtroom for that you have a lane that's so specific, and I don't think anyone occupied it in quite the same way. The potato chip, I'm just going with you and Sudeikis, the potato chip NASA thing, John Hamm sex offender, the spelling bee thing, and then the dance where Peyton Manning ended up dancing, and MacGruber sensitivity train. If anyone's listening wants to see what, I mean, those are pretty good representation. That's a real nice assortment pack.
I had to dig on the Peyton Manning one to go to Vimeo because YouTube wouldn't show it, so I had to get into a Vimeo situation.
Oh yeah, I think it's because of the song. If there's the song that it kicks it out.
They kicked it out.
Certain cites because it doesn't want to, pay for the song to be heard over and over again.
Just because we may not get to this later, I just wanted to ask very quickly about MacGruber and Richard Dean Anderson, because I've been watching with one of my sons who's a sci-fi fanatic. We're watching Stargate, and there's 220 episodes. So I become a super fan of Richard Dean Anderson.
Yeah.
And then I know he did that commercial with you and he was on SNL. Just seems like an incredibly nice guy. Anyway, I just wanted to bring him up so I could tell my son I did.
The nicest guy, because we had been doing MacGruber's for a while, and then we got a chance to do a Super Bowl commercial, which Pepsi had approached Lauren and said, hey, do you want to take an SNL sketch and turn it into a commercial? And somehow he picked MacGruber. And then when he told Pepsi that MacGruber was what he wanted to go with, they quickly bowed out and said, well, you know what? Maybe we don't want to do a Super Bowl commercial. So Lauren said, you know what? Let's keep making this thing and just make it good enough that they'll want to do it. So we said, all right. And rallied the troops, and we did it, and brought Richard Dean Anderson in. And we decided, because there was no guarantee that this was going to go anywhere, we would make a sketch for the show at the same time. So we got to hang around with him for a whole day once, and he was so cool. And he talked about, this is way before the movie came about. So he talked all about how he had been watching the MacGrubers with his 10-year-old daughter, and it was very sweet. And then after the movie came out, it took a pretty hard turn into very dirty territory. And I don't think they watched that one together.
I don't know if they saw that one.
I have two questions, Dana. One is
Yes.
just a statement that my first year of SNL, I think I was on about a year and a half, and I was making $1,500 a show or a week. And then I got out of the blue, got offered a Diet Pepsi Super Bowl commercial. And I was so excited. And then my manager, Gervitz, Dana and I have the same guy. He goes, still got to run it by Lauren. And I go, what does Lauren give a fuck? So I go, okay, tell him. And he goes, yeah, sorry, he said no. I go, no what? I didn't even know that was possible. Like, he said no to my, it's not, no, not time, not now. And I go, I think it was $250,000. I was like, Baba, I have to. Anyway, so that was a bummer. And then the other thing is, my assistant, sounds so Richie Rich, but this girl that works with me I've known her forever. And she was like a fake assistant because she was just like, we were friends, but she would help me with stuff. So she started dating Richard. And so I would see him here and there. And then she got pregnant, and then that daughter is Wiley, I think. And then that I know her. So I know his daughter, and I know him because I see him through her. So they didn't get married, but they had this great daughter, and I had seen him a few times, and he was a fucking cool dude. And I knew you guys were doing that thing, and I'm like, this is like flattering. It's cool to be part of that whole thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, this was MacGruber would not exist without MacGyver.
And he was cool. Everyone thought he was cool. This girl was like all the girls were crazy about it.
In Stargate, what he's doing as kind of a light leading man, and the quips and the way he plays it is like perfection. Anyway, the commercial.
So good, yeah.
And it's really not easy to do. And I think he ad-libbed a lot of his lines, but just really good. In 1988, I think, or 89, anyway, Hans and Franz was offered Just Do It, the campaign from Nike.
Yeah.
And it was Just Do It. We were going to start the campaign. And then Lauren had to call me, and I was going to do what, because we all thought we were Bob Dylan or the Beatles or something, so you don't sell out later on. Later on, there were, Conehead oven mitts in the SNL store. But Lauren at the time, it's not what we do here. It's not that thing. And it's like, so.
Of course.
But everyone learned that all the hippies grew up. It's like the movie The Big Chill with, like, oh, we got to get money. It's not corny to make money.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I have a question.
Can I go back?
I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I was just going to say, when you bring up Hans and Franz, I will every once in a while go hiking. It's been a while, but hiking with Kevin Nealon.
Right.
Do you keep in touch with him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone that's part of your team when you're there, they're like your soldier buddies.
Yeah. But the sweetest person, he married, I went through the groundling system with his wife, Susan. So I kind of got to know him later on once they were together. But man, what a
so nice and such throwaway dry jokes. He's so clever. He just says
so
stuff.
funny when we would do Hans and Franz, and it was really Kevin's driving element of it that. Once we were on the phone laughing about it, we were trying to create characters. And when Kevin said, yeah, and if you don't think we could do this, we could very easily come to your house. Once we knew we were never going to lift weights, we were only going to scream at this imaginary. We're so paranoid. And if you doubt us, we will do this. But right as we were the music, we got stuff on, we're on 8H, we're about to start the sketch, and Kevin's just being Kevin Nealon. And then he would look at me, and I swear his whole face, his IQ would go down like 100 points, like in a second. Always made me laugh right before we started. He would just like cross his eyes or something, but he instantly became incrly stupid.
Hear me now, believe me later. I like that one. Listen to me now,
let me
believe
tell
me
you
later.
something. We could stretch your buttocks out. You know, we could light your butt. You're lucky there's not a campfire here because your buttocks are like soft like marshmallows. You know, that one I did like. I didn't feel.
I like Hans
that
and
one.
Franz.
I like the humor, but can we just for a second?
One second.
I don't want to lose the.
Did you have a McBlooper reel?
These sketches that I looked at. I mean, let's take one of them, or you can pick one you want to talk about.
Yeah, or just when you want to talk.
No, you pick it. You pick it.
Okay.
You pick it.
Well, God, quickly.
I want to go back and turn it around and ask you guys a couple questions.
That's allowed. This is a conversation, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
John. Well, I just mentioned a few. The sex offender thing is crazy, brilliant. The spelling bee thing. How long it went on and the multiple layers of laughs as the audience, you know, and then Jack Black singing at the end. The dancing, one thing stood out, not only was your dancing and the coach so fucking funny, but then when Peyton Manning got up, and I guess he's 6'4", 240, and how light on his feet he was and the way he danced. It was like that double-double, right? So talk about any of those. I can't pick a favorite.
I'll go in order. The Spelling Bee was one I used to do at the Groundlings for years and years.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely one of my 2 or 3 favorites of things I used to do at the Groundlings. So I kept trying to put it up at the show. And I
didn't get up on the first time?
No.
Wow.
You for people who don't know what the process is like, you put something up once. If it goes well at the table, sometimes it just doesn't get picked, but you can put it up maybe a second time. But if it doesn't get picked after the second time, then you just don't put it up again.
It's a little stinky. Go ahead. How many times?
Yeah. I put it up 5 times.
Oh, gross.
Okay.
5 times.
Embarrassing.
And then Jack Black was the final person, and he said, "Oh, we got to do this." So we wrote him the song at the beginning, but it was so fun to get to do that there because it kind of reminds you of the long journey from Groundlings to I don't know. It's very
I think
fun
Cowbell,
to do that there.
Will's the other Will Cowbell didn't that either it got canned after the dress show or whatever, but it took a while, and then when Walken came in, it just went boom. Yeah,
I remember hearing that.
Having the host
so
on your team helps. I'm sorry. And
you can't imagine another human being saying more cowbell better than Walken.
I felt funny was when you said, "Can you spell it?" was hilarious. And then when you were doing the letters, I pictured Wally or someone just holding a million cue cards, just going. I'm like, I hope it's not one letter per card.
Or did you have it memorized from the Groundlings?
No. The scary thing about that is I remembered going out on stage. It was really in a area. It was the last thing before the musical performance. It was the Christmas show, and I remembered looking down. It was like 12:52 or something. We were going out there. I knew that Neil Young still had to perform a whole song, and then they had to see everything. They had to see the whole ice skating stuff. Everyone they wanted to shoot us down.
This is great inside baseball.
So I was like,
I
probably would have gone on for another,
you had to rush a bit that's based on being
that was a short version. Anyway,
I just was in the back of my mind. I was like, are they going to give me this thing? And then, sometimes every once in a while they'll cut off a sketch like in the middle of it. It doesn't happen very often, but
to your performance, as someone who does this, it just, you were so patient.
Yeah.
You never pushed. You never blink. You never. I mean, you were so straight with it.
On a
the whole
sketch, you're
time.
supposed to be
Thank
speeding
you.
up quietly, like on the side. You know, the pressure's like, get the fuck off, get this thing done. And you're like, nope, this is
No,
how
I
slow it
know.
goes.
And it's
not
easy
funny
for
if
a
I don't.
performer to, sorry, David, to pull the ripcord a little bit and slightly wink or do something a little high pitched or try to get a little laugh in the middle but you never,
Just wait
you
it
told
out.
the line. It's
Yeah.
like you never, ever, ever winked at all.
I think they know with Will, it's like going to be like that.
Go ahead.
Just for sure, having a chance to do that so many, I must have done that 40 or 50 times at the Groundlings. So it really gives you
The pacing.
I don't know. You get a little confidence in what it is and clarity on what it is that. And I don't know if that was.
I mean, I wouldn't compare it at all, but Church Lady's kind of almost like a vaudeville sketch, but whatever. But I'd done it in the clubs as part of my stand-up, and then the minute Victoria Jackson said something, and then I said, "Well, isn't that special?" and I got the laugh like I did in the club. It helped really relax me.
Do you remember what was your first thing you ever did on the show? What both of you? Do you remember that very first thing?
I think Dana was Church Lady.
It was the very first thing. I came on the show with Phil Hartman and Jan Hooks.
Yeah,
and it was
was it cold
very
open?
First show. We were in the cold opening, and I was a game show psychic. So Phil was the game show host. Jan was playing like a frumpy, motherly character, and I was like this kind of a genius. Like I would answer before Phil could ask the question. So at one point, I was doing a Garth type character based on my brother. I go, meteor, and he hadn't even asked the question. Meteor. Oh no, we have to ask the question. Meteor. And then this giant meteor came down and killed Jan or something. I don't know. But that was my first one, and I was levitating. I mean, I wasn't quite in my body, I mean, I was like anyone else. I was playing terrified. A pizza parlor. It was just a stand-up in July, and then suddenly I'm on Saturday Night Live. So tell us your experience with your first thing on SNL.
Mine was I was in a sketch. It was Matt Damon was hosting, and it was a sketch about Hannibal Lecter in college. And all I had to say is, dude, I told you he was gay. That's the only thing I had to say, and I almost couldn't say the words. I couldn't remember. I saw it coming up, and I'm like, is my mouth, are the muscles going to remember what to do? And somehow it came out, but it was fucking terrifying.
You remember what color you were on your cue cards? I used to ask for green. No, I asked for blue, I think.
I think I was green. I think it was green.
Funny, you go, I want this, and Wally would go, I think Wally was there for you guys, but he would go, what do you want?
Wally
and
Thurston.
And I watch Farley squint his head. I go, you're actually hurting your head. You're squinting so hard. Because he wouldn't wear his glasses. And I go, at some point, you're going to have to wear your glasses. But
David, what was your
first one? Thank you, Will. Dana never asked me questions about me.
Dana.
Heard it. Been there. No, go ahead.
I was brought on with Rob Schneider in the end of the season for 4 shows. So I went a week ahead and watched one. I met, I saw Lovitz, and I watched just to see what it was like, even though you have no idea unless you're part of it. I'm just watching going, holy shit, this moves fast. And it's smaller than you think and all this. And so I go back, and I think one of those 4 shows, I didn't write anything that got on, maybe a few update jokes. And then there was something about Casualties of War with Michael J. Fox was coming out. So I got to do it on Weekend Update, and it went in limbo, which means you're not at the desk, you're somewhere else with a backdrop. So it looks like I'm in a jungle. And so Dennis is like, fucking Spudley. Right. And now we're going out with Mike Fox or whatever, Casualties of War. And I'm in an army uniform. I'm like, hey, Sarge, you got to give me a minute on this here, Hey, we're deep in the trenches with the goop.
Perfect.
Anyway, I do it. And then he goes, thanks, Mike Fox. And then they go, Kenny Amon, bless his heart. I love Kenny. They forgot to put my card at the beginning. It was just a card saying featuring, and you wouldn't be in the show. I wouldn't have my name at the beginning unless I was in it. And so when I was in it, I get paid at $1,500, and they give me featuring up front. And featuring David Spade. But they forgot. And so people thought it was Dana or Mike Myers. They didn't know
I
who I
dined out
was.
on that for months.
And it fucking
God, that
all
Michael
summer, I
J.
was like,
Fox was
God
awesome.
damn it.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Oh, yeah,
I
Dana
just started
heard about
smoking.
it.
It was so good.
Dana and Mike heard about it, and Dennis is like, they fucked you, guy.
Christ
So wait,
sakes,
that
they
was your
took you
first.
down.
Your first time on camera was like toward the
I had
end
a
of the
whole
season.
thing. Yeah, it was like second last show.
He
and
came
then-
in late in the season. You know, he was
Yeah.
staggered in.
And
Did
then
you
they
come in the
said-
beginning of the
That's like
season?
Sudeikis. Sudeikis was the
Yeah.
same thing. Had been a writer for a while, and then was one of the last couple shows of his
got bumped
second
up
season,
to
I
the
think.
bigs.
Yeah, I was at the beginning. I came in 2002 with Fred Armisen.
Okay. So yeah, you were the normal beginning.
I don't know if you
Yes.
want to talk
Yeah.
about, if you've already talked about this, but I do think it's funny that you were writing for Bonnie and Terry Turner. Basically, you had nice network TV jobs, Third Rock.
Oh, that
and,
was for Bonnie and Terry Turner.
Oh,
Had
yeah.
to be.
Yeah,
And
Who wrote
and
what
that
movie that I
70s
was in, Dana?
Brady Bunch? No, that was
Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy.
Tommy
yeah.
Boy.
Yeah, they were great.
So that
Okay.
when you auditioned for SNL, apparently you weren't as nervous as you normally would have been because you kind of had this other job, and I guess you were swearing, or you did. What was your audition process like? Were you really nervous, or were you cavalier because you were on the fence about taking the job, or is that all just Wikipedia stuff?
There was an element of it that I was not nervous for. I was doing a Groundlings show during the hiatus. I was working at 70 Show at the time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I did a series of Groundling shows during that hiatus period. And Lauren came to one of those shows, and that was where I was super loose. And because like I had a job, and I knew that I couldn't do anything. And I also thought like, they'd never like me anyway.
Right. Kind of thought, well, I'm too busy to do SNL. Yeah.
Well, just like I'm contractually obligated to this other job that I love, and also like they're not going to like me. I've got no chance anyway. I'm an acquired taste, and
You're a bum rock.
So did you destroy that night in a way?
I did. I had this sketch that went so well, it was crazy. It's what at the Groundlings. When you're in the main stage show, you'll have an opening of a show, and that was the opening of the show, and then you'll do the show for 2 or 3 months. And this sketch went so well, and then bombed every other time that I ever did it. It was somehow meant to be. I just got really lucky. Exactly. No, but then I went to. So they asked me to audition, and then I was terrified. Going there, it was the scariest. Were you guys nervous to audition?
Well, were you an 8H kind of doing that, or where was your other audition? Okay.
The first thing was at the Groundlings. So what Lauren came to was just our set Groundling show. Right. Nobody knew that Lauren was coming. It wasn't an SNL showcase. They just happened to show up on this night.
He wore a mustache. Hello, just me.
Yeah.
No, not Lauren.
Did he bring any kind of movie star? Because he had Cher when he saw me, and with Melanie Hutzel, he had Quincy Jones. Yeah, it was a little club on the West Side, and Lauren walked in, and then Cher walked in, and the head of the NBC network at the time, Brendan Tartikoff.
Do you believe it's
crazy?
2 drink minimum?
So did you know he was supposed to come?
I was told, and that's why I was able to get it to this little club, because I'd done the whole cattle call at the Comedy Store a couple times. 20 comedians doing 5 minutes, no MC, just one after the other. And I followed Sam Kinison at midnight. He levitated the room. Literally, there was structural damage to the room. And then no one ever got my name right. And now Dana Garno, I'm not kidding. Often, it was always Dana, and then Dana Garvey. So then I just complete dead silence. Isn't that special? Here's Jimmy Stewart, So then Lauren's coming back around. So I wanted to go play this comedy club with 100 people in it. There was a normal audience. And Rosie O'Donnell was headlining that week. I didn't even know her. And she agreed because I was bringing Lauren. And I met her there. She seemed like she was like so worldly and confident, So I said, maybe I should go on first. So I went on first, but I had 40 minutes.
Though. She kills.
She's great. And I thank her for this. 40 minutes instead of 5. And that's and then I auditioned later at a studio. That's a whole nother story.
Wait a second. You were supposed to do 5. You did 40?
No, this was a regular comedy club. So I just squeezed in and did 40.
You just did a guess.
And then Rosie closed, and we had an MC. So that That's
wow.
why I got the show. If I'd done 5 minutes, no way. Because everyone
Rosie
goes,
Closey.
we can tell if they're funny, even if they're not getting laughs. I know if they're funny. Fuck you. No, you don't. No, you don't. They got to hear the laughs.
So then when you go and do the audition, was it the same process? I assume it was the same thing. Do a couple characters, do a couple impersonations.
Did you ever go into 8H, Dana?
No, I did that in LA, and I did it, like 10 people were there, and Jim Carrey went up, and Phil went up, and and at a given point, I ran out of stuff, and Lauren said, do you have anything else? Is there anything else you have besides what we've seen?
Sickening.
Oh, no.
But I realized later, at least I thought, I've never asked Lauren, were you testing my nerves? Did you want to see if you could handle the pressure? But then I had a little thing called Chop and Broccoli. You mind if I play the piano?
Did you play Chop and Broccoli at the end?
Saturday Night Live. I did, of course.
Chopping broccoli.
I'd rather just make sounds. That's my thing. I don't want to say words. My Biden is like,
oh, man.
You know what chopping broccoli is to me? It's one of those ones where I think I'm the only one that likes it. I go, this is so fucking funny. I bet no one gets it. And then everyone else is like, chopping broccoli is the funniest thing he does. I go, oh, it is? God,
one of the all-time classics.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I was thrilled
I thought I
just
found
to
it.
hear with my own ears you saying that in a story that you're telling to me and David. That was a thrill.
She chop. It's so stupid. I've been on shows and theaters in the round, and someone will hit my back, and it's a stalk of broccoli. Like people will being broccoli and just throw it.
And you know your cue. You're like chopping broccoli.
Chop. But I think Lauren liked it because it's the idea of someone running out of creative, getting all this money and success, and then essentially phoning it in.
And you're like,
so
sure.
he liked what was behind it. But anyway, let's get back to you.
I have another question
our super
for Will.
guest, Will Forte.
Will Forte,
one of
not
the
to be
three
confused
big
with
Wills.
No, I like asking your
Joe
questions of you.
Dirte. Hey, Will,
sounds
you
like someone should get his own podcast.
I know you're a good questioner.
Oh,
You're like, I would never do. No offense. But Will, you wrote for Letterman, and my only question for that is, I actually have a couple, but I would say, is it true that you don't see Letterman much or see him at all when you write for him?
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I mean, it's. I came in. I was a lower level writer. Never made it past the lower level. I was only there for about 9 months. Letterman was, one of my comedy sensibility shapers growing up.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
We all
thrilled to go there,
David.
But I just wasn't as good at writing for him as I thought I would be. I thought it'd be this natural match, and I still he's still one of my all-time heroes. But I barely. You would see him if you had written something there was going to be a pre-tape on, and you had to go out on the shoot. Or if you're like a department head, or you had to run stuff by him, you'd go down
or
there.
Or if you walked the wrong way down the hallway,
exactly,
you run into. Hey,
I never talked to him as a guest. Did you talk to him as a guest? Either of you?
I did. I went
backstage?
On there twice. No. But you did a show though. You did a show as a guest. You mean behind the scenes?
Behind the scenes? No, I don't think I ever talked to him. It was always just on air, which is I got why he wanted it to be like that. Ellen did that too.
For a second, I thought you were saying you had never been on the show, and I'm like, wait.
I thought he said he went on the show and then didn't talk to Letterman. I'm like, on the show you didn't? No, that's weird.
So, Will. If I can call you that.
Is this over? Are we starting?
No, I want to. Let's see. The sex offender one. That's another one.
That one. So the sex offender one, Colin Jost wrote that. I got the good fortune of being in that one because for some reason he thought of me when he thought sex offender. And
well, you can just play off kilter. It would seem like perfect casting if you didn't write it. It was John Hamm, and you were a creepy but awkward, weird.
Yeah.
And it was that Collins thing. Just a few But that's not me. That's you. What? That catchphrase was that.
I basically did exactly as he wrote it. Like he just.
Could you just do that catchphrase for a second?
What? It's just a high pitched what?
But yeah, there was something that happened. But I'm not you. You're not me. What?
Yeah.
Anyway.
So it's a guy going up to trick or treat, and he's dressed as a sex offender, and so somebody's like, wait, are you a sex offender? And it's like, no, I'm dressed as a sex offender.
Right.
And then it comes out that he does have a form for the people to sign acknowledging that he's moving into the neighborhood. And then it's like, wait, is this part of the costume? Or is this like, that's like, yeah, part of the costume.
And
Could
who
you
was
sign
who?
this form?
Who was who in the sketch?
So John Hamm was the guy who I was trying to get to,
who played it
to sign the
straight,
form.
Man.
Yeah. Have you ever had the host go, I like your part better, let's switch?
Only Glenn Close.
I have.
Did that?
You have had a host take
What?
your...
What happened? Tell the whole story.
I'm sorry. I'm subtly interesting.
Everyone does Hans and Franz.
I did.
Sorry.
Actually, that's actually sort of an interesting story because it was a sketch where I played a receptionist, and I would say, "Oh, and you are, and this is regarding," and it was one of the ones that was hard to get on. I had put it through read through, and I couldn't get it on. But they thought it was kind of a funny idea. It wasn't just a straight set up punchline. It was more of an attitude. So Lauren liked that, and even Downey liked it, which helps. And I don't think Frank.
It was the receptionist you have trouble getting past.
Yeah. He stops you because he thinks they're better than you, something like that. And so Bowie was the guest as music with Tin Machine. So I wrote it with Bowie coming in, and then they sent it to his hotel. And Marcy Klein said, "Hey, Bowie wants to call you." There's a message in my little. We had mailboxes back then, and you pull it out from NBC, and it says, David Bowie, this hotel, this fake name, call him as soon as possible. I was like, oh my God, did they send it to him? I just put him in. I didn't even put him read through, I don't think, because he wasn't there. And so I called him, and he answers, and it's fucking Bowie. And I'm like, hey, man. And he's like, this is so fucking funny. It's exactly my life and these people I see. And he goes, one tweak, can I play the receptionist? And he goes, that's the funnier part. And I go, oh, well. And he goes, I mean, I just come in as David Bowie. It's kind of boring. Everyone's seen that. It's fucking stupid. And he goes, you could play me. And I go, I mean, I could. And I said no.
You said no?
The fucking balls of this
Neil
little
Young
pussy.
asked to play the church lady, I just put my foot down. I said, Neil, I'm
Isn't
sorry.
that
This
crazy?
is mine, man. I love you like a brother. No, but literally you said no to him?
I said
What was
no.
the
And
sound?
I am the most colossal pussy. Ask anyone. And I was like, I just can't. I go, you know how it's like fucking like a character like Wayne's World or something, like you want to do it again. And he goes, yeah, okay, sure. And he was not rude. He was just like
disappointed.
Okay, well, playing myself isn't that fun, whatever. And I go, I get it. And he goes, okay, all good. And then the rest of the week I wasn't in the show, and I was like, fuck. And then I'd see Bowie, and he's like, anyway, Genie again.
Control.
And so I got, and then at Good Nights, he said, hey, sorry, man. I get what was going on, and I shouldn't have been like a little chilly.
Really?
About it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now it's like a sweet full circle.
I used to see him. I saw him. He was at my Young Comedian special in the audience when Dennis hosted, in the audience and watching. And then I saw him with Bobcat. I went to his house. So I'd seen him, I think before that, just briefly. So it wasn't too terrified. It was still weird to call him, but to shut him down. And then after that was just weird. And then to never go, and he goes, well, what if the sketch never gets on? I'm like, God, how do you know the show this well? It's so true. What if it doesn't get on? I'm fucking blowing it. He's like, it'll get on if I do it. I'm like,
I said it before, but I ran into him and Jagger with Dennis and Lovitz at this cafe after the show. And
there's Bowie and Jagger. Should we
Bowie
say
and
hi?
Jagger smoking a joint at the
Two
Columbus
biggest stars on
Cafe.
this planet.
And he says, we're very famous, And then Jagger kind of liked the girl who was with Dennis or whatever, but then we went downtown with Bowie to a disco type place, and
they wanted to dance.
He
right?
showed us how to plant your left foot, and do a spin. So he was another one-off genius, like in his own lane, miracle of talent.
Oh, shit.
Just wanted to throw that in there for the fans.
Feels like when Corey Feldman was at Cantor's, I walked right up to him.
That is basically my level of story.
I told Urkel, listen, buddy.
All right.
Sorry.
No, believe me, those things here, you know, when you're at SNL, some people come to the show, you walk by and you go, like at the 40th, I was shocked. I was saying to Dana, like, for once, I almost felt comfortable talking to people that are out of my range because they were on my turf for once. And it was like,
it is. That year was when the movie Nebraska came out. And
oh my God, I forgot about that. Congratulations. Brilliant.
Oh, thanks. I somehow got to be a part of that movie. I still have no idea how. And then got to go to the Oscars because it was nominated. And that was the same year of the 40th.
40th, yeah.
And the 40th was way cooler than the Oscars. I mean, it was, you know, like the Oscars, I feel like I have no business being there. And then, you know, and then I'm at the 40th and I did feel a little bit of ownership, like, hey, I'm a part of this thing. And, and even, you know, and I still, you know, bowed down to all you guys. I mean, just you guys were the ones who paved the way for all of us, you know, down the road. So I was still so nervous around you guys. And Dana, I'll always remember this moment. We got to meet at the after party for the first time. And then we're talking for a while and somebody's playing a Prince song in the background and I'm not really paying attention because I'm just, you know, very excited to talk to you. And then after a while, there's like, this person is playing a couple Prince songs. And then after a while, you're realizing, oh, this isn't somebody playing a Prince song. This is Prince playing a Prince song.
That was so big.
And so we both kind of realized, oh, maybe we should go into this room because we were, I don't know, 20 yards away from this ballroom where Prince had just been ripping it up for.
It was like Fallon was up minutes. There, and everybody got up and jammed with.
It was everywhere you look, someone was famous.
Yeah,
it was a throbbing.
Let's
gigantic...
not do +1s. Let's keep it famous.
I remember talking with Glenn Close and Sigourney Weaver, and they seemed like two nice women. Over
they probably
the
feel out of place too. You know, because
everyone shrinks down a little bit, except if you're Paul McCartney or something. You're
no matter where you are, you're like, I'm the fucking king cuck.
But I talked to Billy Crystal. Everyone seems smaller, but in the same time, if you're a veteran of it, and I hate military analogies because it's not, but in the pantheon of show business, you know, there's that little like, oh, you were there. You know what it's like to, you know, have cottonmouth and have to do a sketch or fall down or the cue cards are torn in half or someone throws up on you. So that is cool to be part of.
You could talk to anyone about SNL like we're doing. We call anybody, and when they talk, you know immediately, even if you weren't there with them, you go, oh, is this kind of the same way when you go back by the page desk? They're like, yeah, everything's the same. It's all the same. Oh, I like that. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's the same.
I mean,
it's a shorthand.
Did you have a celebrity person that you were most excited to meet over those seasons, or kind of starstruck, or just someone that was sort of a thrill to? Because I got to sit with Willie Nelson once and sing with him and have him learn a song. You know, that was like, I remember thinking, this is a SNL type moment. This is weird. This is happening to me.
It took me several years to relax. I mean, it was very interesting. Coming in with Fred Armisen, because Fred was the exact opposite. He seemed just so immediately ready to perform and so excited to get up on stage. And I was just terrified from week to week. And I would enjoy it as I look back on it. But he's fantastic. But then the summers would come. He couldn't wait for the summer to end and get back to the next season. And I was like,
grind. I get so stressed, and like July, I'm like, it's coming. And I load up, I have one sketch ready, and then I go, I'm ready this year. And I got one, the week 2, I'm like, what the fuck? I have nothing. I'm so over.
Oh yeah. And you go in, you go to the final show in May, and you're like, I'm going to spend every day just like a half hour thinking up ideas. I might not even turn them into full sketches, but I'm going to come in with so many ideas. And you know, you of course don't do any of that.
I would call Marcy and go, who's the host? Who's the host? Who have you booked yet? You know, just to get a head start.
I think it was my second season. The cast was in 8H and we had these reporters there, like a little press conference. Do you have any new characters? And on the spot, I said, I don't, but I have a new catchphrase, which was, I got to go. And they took it serious. It was in the New York Post and stuff. Like it was a thing. They didn't realize. And then Jan was my sidekick. Funny Little Poopy Head was my name, and her name was Mrs. Funny Little Poopy Head. And I'd go, I got to go. And she would say, and I'm going with them. And they took it. They thought it was. They thought it was great.
Catchphrases are decided by the audience, basically.
I'm with you guys. I feel like it's a gathering storm in a sense, a sense of anxiety when the season's starting, and how will you do it? Never left me. I think I was pretty good the last 30 shows. I think the first 100 was still trying to get really relaxed. But I think what happens is the audience discovers you. And you get more relaxed, and it kind of builds on itself. You see it with a new cast member. Because they probably, at some point, Will, when the audience saw you come in and knew your sensibility, like by the time the Halloween thing came in, it seemed like the audience saw you and just went, oh, it's Will. We love him. I mean, it gets relaxing at that point, right?
Certainly, I think there's a point when that happens. But my point happened a little bit later, because the stuff I would write would be so weird. It would always be the stuff toward the end of the show. So it just took longer. I mean, I think there are some people after I left the show that just didn't know that I had left the show, because they had never really seen me that much in the show anyway. So,
well, Dana was saying a nice compliment to you that oh, no, I'm thinking of someone else. No, he was saying a nice compliment about you, where he said, you know, because you have sort of a different vibe. So when you go out there, first of all, what I would say is people know it's coming. So when you're doing a bit, they're like, this bit is going to go sideways in a weird way, where it's not the predictable structure, which is good. You know, it might go zigzag where you don't see it coming. And then also he said, you remind him of a little bit of Jack Handy, which I think is a genius. I think we both do, me and Dana.
Oh my God, that's a huge compliment.
And being like, we'd see him in read through, and he's so quiet sitting in the corner, and he's kind of giggling. He's got little glasses. And then they go, impending doom or whatever. And it was some sketch, and it was so fucking bananas. And we're all like, God damn, I'm going to quit writing, because I don't even know what he's doing. Everything is funny, and it's so weird.
My first one was me and Kevin were like, there was a launch pad with a rocket, and we were the guys with the binoculars. And I'm like, okay, 10, 9, 8. And then Lassie would wander underneath the rocket. Oh, wait, hold on, you know. And then it was Hitler. Okay, we're going. And then it was Hitler holding the Mona Lisa and Lassie. It was just, you know, just so brilliant.
So stupid.
Oh my God, that's so awesome.
So you have a thing where you got a different vibe, which is good to have.
Oh man! Well, I mean,
talk about that dance you did when you were.
He
the
says
coach.
you're like Hitler,
the
basically.
Dance. So the dance.
Like, how did you come up with how funny that dance was? Well, I can't even describe it.
So the dance. Do you guys know John Lutz? Lutz was in the show 30 Rock. He played one of the writers, John Lutz. So he was a writer on the show SNL, and then now he writes for Seth Meyers. But he came to me, and he had that song Casino Royale, and said, we got to do something with this song. And I had this idea. This was also back from the Groundlings, of just a coach who wanted to give a motivational speech and use something really stupid as the motivation. So we married those two together. We wrote the whole sketch. The dance was not even part of it. The dance, it was just like I was going to listen to the song for a long time. And right as we were about to do the sketch, I think it was right before the table read, he said, hey, why don't you dance during the song? Just start dancing, just so people don't get bored during the song. And I said, yeah, you're probably right. That's probably a good idea. So that was a total afterthought. And then when we did it throughout the week, I'm sure you guys it was never quite, I mean, it was the idea of it we loved, but it just wasn't hitting for some reason. And Lauren even said it went well enough in dress rehearsal that he said, you know, he put it in the show, but he did say you should cut down on the dance a little bit. And then for some reason, this was, you know, most of the time, so many times you'll do the best version of the sketch at dress rehearsal, and then the live show will be a letdown.
Feeling. Yeah.
Sadly.
This was like one of the only times that the sketch actually was the best version, and it was just like a straight up arc, and somehow the dance just the dance moves were flowing like wine. nice and crisp. And I was so excited by how it went. I went longer than I was supposed to, but I think he was fine because I was working, just kind of felt it out.
The team was not into it. They were playing it very real and disappointed. And then your exuberance and what I refer to that as funny with the sound off. I'm sure there's other ways to put it, physical comedy.
Oh, that's cool.
Funny with the sound off means the audience is not listening for a punchline or anything. They have permission to just really laugh hard. It's the I Love Lucy and the grapes or the chocolates. And when I did Massive Head Wound Harry, the air show was the same thing with the dog. And, I'm working with an animal going crazy. And that was just the longest laugh I'd ever got because they knew what I was in. And I did not want the prosthetic to fly off because then that would be that secondary joke. And the sketch had worked so well. So I was just decided to hold it. And then the dog went to town. So it was funny to sound. That's sketch too. What you were doing, dancing like that, was that kind of thing. Like I just get to really laugh.
Hang on. By the way, that dog after that sketch, Bill, I was right next to. What did I say, Bill? Will. I was right next to the stage, and the dog walked by, and he goes, "Follow that motherfucker." I go, "Jesus Christ, this dog's going to be a cast member."
Well, they put more goo on the mat on the thing.
They put more dog food goo in his head.
Yeah, a very Smigely trick or something to put all this extra stuff. You'll have fun out there.
That was one of the hardest kills.
Smigel wrote that.
I'm not sure if it was maybe Schneider or Smigel. I'm not sure. Steve Korn. I don't want to say because I'm not sure if it was a group effort, but I was a participant in that as the through line and just lucky to be in the sketch.
Oh, you were in the right fucking place.
Oh, I was. Yeah. Sometimes they just get pennies from heaven.
That was it. Yeah, it was great.
That was one of the all-time greats.
We were talking about Will, and then we went into that.
No, I love it. I love it.
All-time
Any
greats.
SNL talk is funny. I like it all.
My sound went out for a second. All-time what? I had a glitch. It's a Wi-Fi issue. No, it's such a mutual thing. Have you ever had people think you're weird or stuff? Because I had it once at SNL, like literally maybe slightly off or perverted or something's wrong with you.
Oh, sure, all the time. Family members.
Tell me your experience. I'll tell you my experience.
Oh, just no. Well, especially. During you already brought up that hairdo I had to have for Last Man on Earth, which I kind of did to myself. Like I thought it'd be a fun idea. So, and then I had to have it for a month. You'd be walking along it, most of the time it was such a crazy work schedule that I would just be kind of going back and forth to work. But every once in a while you got to go to the store. You got to go to
fucking Ralph's.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's people already kind of thought were nervous by the length of the beard before I had to shave off half of it.
Yeah. And people at home listening, it was half. It was directly down the middle of your face. One side was like long hair and a long beard, right?
Yeah. One total hairiness, like the brawny guy.
Yeah.
Well, brawny guy plus a year of hair growth, and then the other side's completely right down the middle. Completely shaved, eyebrow gone.
Oh, eyebrow gone. Too? Sick.
Oh yeah. My dad. I had sent a picture.
Okay, that seals the deal.
We shaved it on a Sunday afternoon, and everyone was warning me about the eyebrow. But then I sent a picture to my dad just to say, "Hey, look at that! Look what your son is looking like right now." And he said, "Oh, you're keeping the eyebrow, huh?"
That's a great dad voice.
Yeah. No, so I had to.
Oh, because you had to commit all the way. Oh my God.
Daddy said to shave the eyebrow. So.
I love it.
I love that. Mine's not quite like that. It involved Steve Martin, and very quickly I church lady would say penis a lot when I was doing it in the clubs, and then the censorship guy, Mr. Clockworthy, said you can't say penis so much. So then I started to write your naughty bulbous area and your willing and throbbing buttocks. And so I was in read-through and Steve Martin was 3 feet away and I'm just digging into, and he's next to Lauren, I'm digging into the church lady because it was early days with the character and your naughty bulbous and your wicked throbbing member is going, and I was getting into it and I heard Steve say to Lauren under his breath, "What kind of mind thinks of this?"
Steve, one of our favorites.
Naughty and bulbous and throbbing and
pulsating.
Gorged. It became really pornographic compared to just saying penis. And gorged, your engorged loaf is throbbing and willing.
Loaf.
And the censorship guy
pervert.
was, attaboy, attaboy.
That is so funny that the guy who was in the friggin' Jerk and wrote the. I mean,
I love it.
How would he say that? You would think, oh, that's right up his alley.
Steve Martin,
I took it as
Steve
an
Martin.
incredible
God
compliment.
damn.
You know, and of course,
yeah. He's. I mean, the Jerk for years. That's one of my favorite all-time movies.
God
He had a kindred spirit with you, with the absurdity, the weird, crazy, a man with
God.
two brains, and he was an abstractionist.
Well, so do you know what you brought up that I want to talk about is that does it fucking drive you crazy? Excuse my swearing, I'm sorry, but it really chaps my hide. That when the standards and practices would say, oh, you can't say penis that many times, but to me it's like, oh, if you can say penis once on TV, you could say penis for the entire 30 minutes. Why? What's like, if you can say a word, say it. Like for Last Man on Earth, there was a goat piss joke that Sudeikis had told, and then he improvised off the script and said goat piss again, and it like made sense for the story, but they wouldn't let us say goat piss.
That's on Fox.
A second time, just two of the word pisses, and it was fine to say piss. You just couldn't say it twice. It just drove me crazy. Yeah, that was
ours evolved that eventually, which it took a while to get on. I think Tom Hanks was the host, but it was a nudist colony, so we all were shirts off, and we were all just commenting on each other. Nice penis. Hey, looking good
nice.
today. Yeah.
I
hey,
remember
thanks a lot.
that.
Nice penis. And so we said it 300 times. So eventually, Mr. Clockworthy gave up at some point.
That's your Clockworthy. I had Andrew Brewer.
Oh, Brewer was a ball buster, man.
He's always like, guys, I'm trying to be your friend here. No,
Mr. Clockworthy had Buster Brown shoes and little glasses and a bow tie.
Who was yours,
right
Will,
out of
at
Central
SNL?
Casting.
You know what? I can't remember who was. God, who was the?
Because they would come right up to us and say, "Hey, Spade, I just read your weekend update. You cannot do." I'm like, "Whoa!" Start always shocked. What? No.
Yeah.
I said pussy, and then he, whatever. But
you put in pussy 5 or 10 times and go, okay, I'll just do 3.
Yeah, I mean, that was a trick. Yeah,
it's like what the politicians do. This package is going to cost $10 trillion. That's insane. All right, well, $5 trillion. Oh, it's not so much.
Oh, what a bargain.
That's pocket change.
Yeah,
but and I remember during my standards and practice things that I remember much more clearly from the Last Man on Earth stuff. When I was there, you couldn't have people having sex, but you could you could have people having sex, but they couldn't be moving at all. So you
that's how I do it.
You couldn't even tell. So if Kristen Shaw and I had sex, we'd have to basically say, "Oh, I'm having such great sex with you currently, right now,"
without moving much.
But then what you could do is you could do the exact same thing, but if you put it in the script, that you're having sex, then you can't really move around at all. But if you just say are engaged in foreplay, you could be doing the exact same thing, but then be moving around a little bit. It was just so maddening all the time. What the little rules are.
Yeah, prime time. Now you got to go to live streaming, and there's other rules now though, because there's just a lot of sensitivity. Put it that way.
Oh man, with Peacock, they're letting us be quite risque. Quite risque.
I was about to say, I saw your trailer, and I'm like, this looks like it's going to be pretty rough on the edges.
Oh yeah, no, it is essentially they let us do whatever we wanted to do. Yeah, it's very hard.
I love it.
And
is it because you pay for Peacock and so there's like a barrier there gone?
Yeah, I guess so. Like we could never do it for NBC,
right?
But because it's their streaming service, I guess there's you can.
The fans of the movie are going to come over, and the movie was R, right? Must have been.
Yeah, the movie's super
Yeah.
R, and so it's basically
R.
the same tone as the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, Peacock's been awesome and really fun to work with, and none of that stuff. We're just very excited because it's kind of impossible to do this character after the movie without quite a bit of swearing and dirty scenarios.
I like Super R. That should be a new rating.
Yeah,
Super R. Yeah.
I'm gonna get Super R. Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck with that one. That's going to be fucking cool. And any other questions, or Dana, what do you got? Anything?
You got any questions for us or anything you want to add? We never know how to wrap up.
Yeah, we're just saying you did a good hour. You were fucking entertaining, and it's good to dig deep and know more shit.
Was that? Oh man, I guess my question is, so Dana, you come down here from time to time, because I did text with Kevin Nealon last week and said, hey, we haven't hiked in a long time. We should do a hike. So if you guys would, I guess what I'll do it with you.
Hang out.
Would like to get a hike on the books.
Yeah. I just want to let you know my resting pulse is 39. Not a joke. I hike really hard because I was in track. Now, did you run in high school or you were a swimmer?
I didn't.
Okay.
I was a swimmer and I played football, but we didn't have a hike club, or else I probably would have joined it. But,
I was a distance runner, so I take that. But if I was doing it with you and Kevin, we would just stroll and talk.
Kevin has to hold like waters, and he holds like a camera in front of him, like
the
a
drone
selfie stick.
with one hand.
Drone. Yeah. He's barking out orders, and he's like, "So tell me." And I'm like, "Kevin, I can't even walk this fast." I asked him, I swear to God, can we do it in a parking lot? I go, it's just about the interview because my neck is all fucked up. I go, I don't want to go fucking Mount Everest and the Iger sanction. Let's just walk around Kmart. And he's like, no. And I go, what's the difference? Maybe tilt the camera. We think we're walking up. I don't know.
The last time he lured me up to this real poison oaky play, he said, there's a ton of poison oak. And that's the one thing that I'm very allergic to poison oak. So I had to basically wear a full body.
You don't have to make excuses. He's like, you want to go to Scorpion Junction?
No, I go where Nealon tells me to go.
Yeah, Rattlesnake Hills?
By the way, that was also
where I go.
Now, Dana, David, and I got to go. I had run into Tim Meadows at we go to the same gym, and I saw him, and we got a little dinner together. And so David came. It was me and Hayter and Tim Meadows and David and Molly Shannon came. And wait,
what a gang!
That was a good little mix.
Fun.
Yeah,
it was kind of like this, getting to talk about different eras of the show, and it was so much fun. We should do another one of those too.
That's kind of why we're doing this podcast, because it gets ridiculous when you are fans of people and people from SNL and friends that you don't see, and you wait until maybe you're at some award show or the 50th. Even if I don't see you between now and the 50th, I guess we're all going there. Then I'll go, well, just because of this.
It's coming up. It's got to be.
It's 3 years or something.
Away, right?
What are you going to wear? I mean, full tuxedo, or what are you guys thinking? Am I going to do Garth?
Let's do it.
They better bring Vaseline and cotton swabs on that.
So did you say that Garth is
my brother Brad?
Your brother?
Yeah.
Oh,
if we put him on the phone, he would talk like this. I used to do him in my stand-up act. Yeah, I could make a nuclear weapon with a paperclip. That's why Garth had a stun gun and all that in Wayne's World 1. That was all from Brad advising me how would Garth make a homemade stun gun, because he was kind of a MacGyver kid. Brad was.
Oh, wow. That is awesome. And he must be flattered by it, or does he like it? Okay.
He invented the first prototype of an at-home video editing system called the Video Toaster with a man named Tim Jennison. So we were on magazine covers together when I was doing Garth, and yeah, it's very flattering, because Garth, who wouldn't want to be Garth? That's a character that I would like to just be him or hang out with him. He's so loyal and fun, and
he got some
sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just so nice.
Didn't he?
Real supportive.
He always had some pretty girl in the movie. Like, really, Garth? And he's like,
but I remember Kristen Wiig at the 40th. She goes, "Why does he hold his jaw like that?" And I go, "Because Brad does all his his anxiety,
his stress or something." That's,
I guess, but it is
because it makes it funnier. She should know. She's fucking hilarious.
She's great. Well,
She's
The
great.
best. The best of the best.
she is. She's certainly in the conversation. There are certain people that are so good at Saturday Night Live. There shouldn't be ratings, but it's fun to go,
There's
you're
no
number 3,
arguing
I'm
her.
number 10,
No.
that are just as good as anyone's ever done it. And I would put Mr. Will Forte in that category. Unless
Get
someone
out
else
of
comes
town.
along and does this, what I'm looking at with my,
Look at that shit.
look at that.
Did you see the word
I'm
old
going,
was
one
circled?
guy
I
did
can-
all that. Yeah.
I
All
can't
right.
see it anymore.
Nice to
Oh,
meet
there
you,
we go.
Dana. And if you ever want to do a dinner with or without Dana, let me know.
I would love that. I would love that.
And I'll
Yeah.
tell Kevin, I would like to go for a hike with you guys.
Or a dinner.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fantastic. I'll talk with him and we will get in touch with you and
Because
figure it out.
I'm here almost all the time in LA.
You
at this
hike, and
point.
then I'll meet you guys for dinner.
You guys, it is such an honor to do this with you. Thank you for
Thank you,
wanting
Will.
me
Thank
to
you.
come on. You guys
It
are
was really
are-
fun.
freaking the best, and I could ask you so many more questions, and will
At dinner.
This might lead you to say no to this hike and dinner, but
No, it's
just a thrill.
I find everything to do with Saturday Night Live interesting, really, weirdly enough, only
Yeah.
because, which I say many times, it's like experientially the height of what you could do on planet Earth, unless you're a Navy SEAL or something. It's just this adrenal, bizarre, live, weird show. So nothing like it. That's why
Yeah.
Tracy Morgan, when I run into him, he goes, "Hey, alum. How you doing, alum?" That's the way he looks
That's
at it.
it.
Part of the team. All right. Well, go about your day. Kiss your baby and your wife in what particular order, doesn't matter.
Bye,
and
lumps.
Have fun. Oh,
Bye,
he just
lumps.
left. Okay.
All right, we did it. This has been a podcast presentation of Cadence 13. Please listen, then rate, review, and follow all episodes. Available now for free wherever you get your podcast.
No joke, folks. Fly on the Wall has been a presentation of Cadence 13. Executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Chris Corcoran of Cadence 13, and Charlie Finan of Brillstein Entertainment.
The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman with production and engineering support from Serena Regan and Chris Basil of Cadence 13.